Well, I was still having trouble with this tail light, and I just couldn't figure out what was wrong with it. I know there's various problems with the what it's manufactured. Then I saw this bulb. See this? This is one of the contacts for, you know, either it's the tail light or the brake light. You can see the ceramic is cracked there. This was pushed down into the body where the ground is. So when I installed it, I didn't notice that. I mean, it wasn't like that. This was just an additional problem. And when you started it up or vibrated it, the contact shorted out to this side here, or onto the side of the body of the socket. And I'm like, well, that's great. So I'm going to actually, since I don't have another bulb right now, I think I got a regular one. I'm going to put some shoe goo on this and let it dry and see if it works. It probably will. And in the meantime, you know, it really patched up these wires 50 million times and coated them and stuff, because actually this thing was not made that well from India. And I took the original set, which had the burned out backup light here. What I did was I wrapped up this wire and I said backup light. I can actually do is use the original one, even though it's taped up and this was connected. You know what I did? That's shoe goo in there and Gorilla Tape and stuff. It's actually, it'll really hold up, believe it or not. You know, because there's no bare wire. It's not going to come out with that stuff on it. It's just as good as insulation, believe it or not. Even though it looks stupid, it freaking works. But this, I'm going to keep this as a spare, because I can always put the backup light lens in here, and then just below it, hook up a light onto the bumper that's like really strong, and just wire it with this wire and just put a ground on it. So when you hit the backup lights, you have a really strong one. So looks like the problem is this damn thing. The bulb itself. I don't think I have another bulb that is plasma. I have various other kinds, but that's something else. I mean, it's like one thing or another. And actually, all this stuff, all these parts, they look the same. Like that backup bulb should not have broken that insulation in there like that. But you know, they're coming out of China and stuff. This is just 1156. Okay, so here's a regular incandescent tail light. I can use that. I don't think I have any plasma ones, but I was thinking that because it says, I wonder if I just put another bulb in there, something's wrong with the bulb internally. And I said, well, I looked on the outside. See, I was doing that at night and didn't notice that. And here's one that's kind of bright. This is it's not a plasma, but it's an LED. You know, the problem is, like I said, with this stuff, it appears to be the same, but they're not exactly the same. And you can see with this, the way it sticks out a little more, you don't have to worry about the prong getting near the side here or getting near the socket. It's far enough away. It's amazing how they and those taillights themselves from India. I says, wow, the insulation on them is crap. I mean, you can bend the wire and just about crack the insulation. You'll start seeing microscopic cracks in the insulation. I'm thinking to myself, I'll tell you what, India better not get in a war with China, because even though China doesn't make the best stuff, from the way India makes taillights, assemblies, housings, they got some pretty serious problems. So here's orange 1157s. See, this is a single prong for like a backup light or parking light or a turn signal, and this is for like brakes and taillights, or sometimes it's for turn signal if you don't have the orange turn signal or amber. We got a lot of bulbs in here, but I don't have any more plasmas. So, but I do have an LED. I'm going to actually try to fix that one, and with shoe goo, which actually I think it'll work because that stuff is pretty strong stuff. Yeah, it's right here. So I'm gonna actually put the shoe goo all around the edge of this damn thing. God, it was like a second problem. So here's my little buddies. You see, Dixie just went under the freaking car. So there was a problem that wasn't there before, and it just. But you know, it's like what I'm telling you right now. It's like what's going on is all these parts are not of the same quality as the OEMs. A lot of these aftermarket parts, and I mean, no matter what the hell it is. So they got problems. I mean, you just come up with stupid problems, and it's the simplest stupid thing in the world. Yet dealing with junk. Actually, I think, well, you know what? That probably might have been one of the problems all along. I kept thinking it was a wire or a socket or something like that. It might have been this bulb. You know, but I could tell you that the lights, these are the original Suzuki lights. The wires on these are in better condition, even though they're from 1985, so that makes them 34 years old. They're in better condition than the ones that brand new set from India has. Now, actually, I picked up another set of them again, but they're coming from New York City. Both sides with the lenses for 30 bucks. I figured somebody ripped them off, though, to tell you the truth. But maybe they ripped off a good pair of them or something. I don't know how the hell they can sell them for 30 bucks, free shipping, both sides. That's why I jumped on it. It may be the same ones from India, but I might reinstall one of them again. But if they work, they work. It looks like the damn bulb. And I'm like, this was not the initial problem. Because I had these installed without the backup light. Because what happened originally was the backup light was where it shorted out. The wire was, you know, from freaking 3.5 decades of freaking, you know, just sitting around, and the wire rubbed on something in here. So I actually rounded this out, put tape over it and all that kind of garbage so it can't rub. Eventually rubbed, it shorted out the light. So it actually fried the backup light, the whole assembly and all that kind of garbage. So what I did was, you know, I put it back together without the backup light, and I was using it for a few weeks or so till the new lights came in. Then I had nothing but problems with this, and actually I think there were several things wrong. There was not just this, and maybe this bulb broke from me installing it so many different times, but then again, it should not have broken like that because it's cheap. I mean, this looks like the black phenolic resin that's on all the bulbs, but I'll guarantee there's something different about it. Just like these wires are not exactly all the same as the OEM quality. I mean, it should be good enough to work, but man, you got to really beware of these. Anything that's aftermarket, it's not. And even OEM sometimes is not the answer, because sometimes OEM is crapola, and sometimes the aftermarket comes to the rescue. But normally, the good aftermarket that comes to the rescue is the stuff made in the United States of America by independent machinists or producers of, you know, aftermarket wire sets and stuff. So, put a little goop on that, let it dry for several hours. Just put the damn bulb back in. I'll have this as a spare. I already just had it all set up for, you know, double ground. This will plug in for the side marker light. And put some shoe goo on here right now. Okay, so I put some shoe goo around there. That should hold it. So let it sit like this for a while until I go and install it in a few hours. And also, what I do with any of these glues, or even if it's RTV sealant, anything like that, I always put them in a plastic Ziploc bag, because even though you put the lid on there tight and all that type of stuff, you want to have, and then I push the air out of it. This way, it's kind of double sealed, and you'll find that any of the stuff that's a glue or adhesive or weather strip adhesive or emblem adhesive RTV, gasket sealant, whatever the hell it is. If you put it in a plastic bag, a Ziploc bag like that, and you compress the air out of it, it'll last a lot longer. And I think this is the problem actually right here, because it is in a tail light, and it seemed to like short out. Like if I'm sitting there, if I just turn the lights on, I got it working, it's working. That's why sometimes I was putting it together. I said, what the hell? I don't see anything wrong. I don't see nothing wrong. And this bulb is not that old. It's just cheap, I guess, you know, whatever. So, and, you know, I don't see nothing wrong. And it's like that prong that's over there. And you start it up, you hit some bumps, the engine's vibrating or whatever it is. The prong will just move over a hair and it'll touch the side and ground out. And that's when the fuse would blow. So that's, you know, again, these are these parts made in China and India and whatever the hell else they're made in. You know, it's like you're getting them cheap, but they're not exactly the same as some of the stuff that you can get super high quality that are, and you know, even this junk they sell at supposedly super high quality is probably relabeled, made in China. Who the heck knows? Not everything out of China is bad, but parts are not up to the same standards that they used to be. No way.